Hey, Bastish B here for 64K and welcome to vlog number 45, April 2024.
Welcome to 64K, hosted by Bastish B.
And welcome back. So this little vlog is a bit of a Q&A. It's also to celebrate going over 17,000 subscribers for 64K, which is pretty damn cool. It's really getting there. There's been a lot of new subscribers over the last couple months. Still though, if you look at the stats, which is insane, 77%, almost 80% of the people that watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. This channel really should be like triple the amount of numbers, even more than what it actually is in terms of subs. So please, if you do enjoy this channel, that's all I ask. Please subscribe and it'll really help out everything. And I finally got to release my first part of my Mega Drive Super Special, covering the Mega Drive / Genesis, and from 1988 to 1993. There's over 300 reviews in there. It was a lot of work to make that. I hope you can check that out if you haven't. This is obviously only part 1. Part 2 comes out later in the year. I never ever really wanted to release these as parts, just like the arcade video, but just due to the scope of it just had to be that way for now anyway. The arcade version came out in 3 different parts, and then I did a director's cut later which combined it. That's actually the video I wanted to make, and that one has gone on to be the biggest video ever released on this channel. Over 200,000 views. I've lost track of it, but this Mega Drive one is doing pretty good so far. It's only been out for a month. It's got over 22,000 views, which is quite good. It's actually beat the arcade individual episodes, the 70s and the 90s individual episodes already in terms of views, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously that video, the Mega Drive one, the way I want you to watch it is the director's cut, which will come at the end. But for now, I hope you'll check it out and look forward to the one that comes later. And a quick little plug for Patreon and club membership. Please check those out if you're interested and helping out the channel. Club membership is fairly new. There's quite a lot of people that have joined. I really appreciate everybody that adds like, $1 a month to the channel. It really helps out. Allows me to buy digital games, to review, all that kind of stuff. Joysticks always breaking, having to buy new ones, all that kind of stuff, especially C64 stuff. So it really helps. If you're part of the club membership, just bear in mind, make sure you check out the community tab or the club membership tab on the main page, and you can see the videos are available to you long before they released on this channel. So just go over there and have a look. You'll see stuff specifically for you. Obviously on Patreon you get the exact same stuff as well.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Pixel Memories is a new retro-themed diorama endeavor dedicated to high-quality 3D prints of your favorite retro games. It brings back those iconic scenes in full 3D glory to display on your shelves, with mounting slots so you can customize the look of your diorama to your liking, and everything is interchangeable. Plus, bonus display stands so you can mount single characters next to your other collections. Custom designs and commissions are also welcome, so check out Pixel Memories. All links are in the video description. If you want to advertise on this channel, retro gaming or pop culture goods, please contact me on any of my social media for more details. So now we're over to the Q&A part of the vlog. I'll post on social media if you want to ask any questions of me or the channel, and I've got a whole bunch of responses here. First we'll do 2 questions that are just random, and then we'll go on to another one which is made up of 3 different people. They all kind of ask the same question in a general sense. So I'm going to combine those into one, just so it's not saying the same thing over and over. And the first question is from Retro and Gaming. They ask, did you ever experience the MSX2 machines back in the day? Now, unfortunately, I lived in South Africa and that computer just did not exist. Like on any level. I'd never even seen that system before. Didn't even know about it until probably the late 90s that it even existed. There was just zero information about that thing. Bear in mind, pre-internet, If you never lived through that period, you know what I'm talking about. If it wasn't in a magazine or something or appeared on TV, there's no way you would have known about it. So the MSX was an unknown system to me. And although recently, over the last decade or so, I've been looking into the system because it has a lot of cool things that always interest me. I'm really interested in getting an MSX2 computer. I've actually tried a few times on eBay to buy one, and things have happened where they wouldn't ship here to Canada or whatever, and I was blocked, so I couldn't get it. And those opportunities don't come up very often, so I actually have tried a few times to get one, and I failed. So it's a system that I really want to try to get into and enjoy the back catalog, especially the MSX2. It looks very cool. Also want to get one of those flash carts so I can stick them back there and be able to play the whole library and just mess around with it. If that ever happens, it'll probably become a segment on the channel, me discovering games for the first time, that kind of thing. But right now, I'm not in a position to buy an MSX computer, MSX2, not anytime soon, so I don't think that's ever going to happen, although I would like to play that system and discover its back catalog. And the next question is from Brian Thomas. He asks, we have all had that one game we had a chance to buy in the past before the game became rare and expensive. What's the one game you regret not buying back then that you're on the lookout for now? So that's happened a few times, but the time that it happened when I really should have bought it was probably the late 90s, 99. Yeah, probably 99. It was the Sega Saturn was absolutely DOA on North America. I just moved to Canada, and when I got here, all the Saturn games were just either the last ones were like coming out. I got here in 98. The last ones were being released, and all the other ones were really like on massive sales. I could have cleaned house and had a massive library. Didn't really realize it at the time, which is unfortunate, but that's not what I'm going for here. But there was Burning Rangers, the Sega Saturn US version, had just been released, and it was in like a GameStop over here. I remember going in there was one copy because there's like nobody else was buying it, and I walked in, I saw it, and I was like, because I'm a massive fan of that system. And I picked it up and I looked. It was expensive, like for back then it was like $80, and I just had enough money to buy it. Unfortunately, I was a bachelor back then, and if you know living the bachelor life, you basically live paycheck to paycheck. You don't plan anything. Things are just like you just got enough money to do, like, you know, pay the rent, get some food, buy a game. That's it. You have no other worries. I didn't have the money to. I could have bought the game though, and I was like, if I buy this game right now, I'm not gonna have dinner for 2 days before I get paid. I was like, is that worth the risk? Can I survive 2 days without eating to buy Burning Rangers on the Saturn? And I chose to go with the food. So I put it back on the shelf, and I was like, I'll just come back on Friday, because this was like a Wednesday, and I'll come buy the game because nobody else is going to buy it. And that was pretty much the case for Saturn games at that time, so I was pretty confident it was still going to be there. So I went and bought some horrible pizza for the next 2 days. Terrible stuff. Friday come, go straight to GameStop after I get paid. Go straight to the shelf. Burning Rangers is gone. That, I regret that. I mean, would I have survived 2 days without food? It's probably a really bad idea. But man, that game is like super expensive now. Personally, I'm not on the lookout for it anymore. Not the US version anyway. I just couldn't be bothered with paying exorbitant prices for retro games. But if I see a Japanese version at some convention at some point, and it's reasonably priced, and when I say reasonably priced, I mean it's got to be less than $50. I'm not paying anything more than that. If I come across it, I'll definitely pick it up, so hopefully I'll see that one day. And the last question or questions are by these three people here. They all ask questions that are pretty much in the same vein. You know, things about how do you what's your schedule when making videos? How many hours of sleep do you get? How much time do you spend writing? How do you split your time between playing games for fun or playing games for YouTube? How do you have time to edit all these videos? How do you keep the quality so high and still make so many videos? Blah, blah, blah. It's all kind of the same kind of question. So I haven't planned what I'm going to say right now because there's such a lot that I could say and it could take a long time. So I'm just going to try to just ad-lib this and just go with it. So basically, making the videos for the channel is it's difficult in terms of time. Time is really a factor, like everybody says here. If we all were just working on YouTube videos and didn't have real jobs, which most of us do, then wow, this channel I could be making like these crazy things, even more crazy than what I make now. And the amount of videos I could make, I could triple that without even, without much effort. It's, commitments for family and work. You got to kind of balance that. So the way I do it is, the way I've managed to balance it, it's not perfect. Over the last, I would say, few months, I've actually dialed back the amount of time I spend making videos, just to spend more time, just a little bit more time relaxing and spending a little bit more time with family, because I spend way too much time making videos, and I've dialed it back a bit, and I've noticed that it hasn't really affected the amount of videos I make. So, which I found kind of weird. I thought it was, but the reason why I've been able to still make a large amount of videos and keep the quality really high and spend less time actually working on them. The reason is when I first started this channel, and I would suggest everybody that is making a YouTube channel, or if you have one, or you're thinking about making one, or whatever, I would highly suggest making your own personal archives. Now what I mean is, when I first started the channel, I decided that it would be in my best interest that every video I make, all the assets I use from those videos, I would keep them in separate files. And I'm not talking about the live action stuff, hosting stuff that I shoot. As soon as I've shot this video, like right now, I edit the video and I erase all this footage. It's no use, I personally think it's no use keeping all this footage of yourself, these outtake kind of stuff. It's pointless. You're taking up tons of hard drive space for nothing. Once your video is complete, that is your hosting, that is you in your video form. You don't need to have hundreds of hours of yourself on a hard drive. You're just wasting money buying hard drives to fill up space for nothing. You're never going to go back and take this clip out. You can just take it from your real video. So don't do that. But what I decided to do is archive all the assets. So what I mean is, every time I make a video, a Commodore video, or any video really, all the pictures I use in that video gets put into a separate folder with just where I keep all pictures, game box covers, adverts, programmers, their profiles, logos for companies, all that goes into a separate file. Any video game footage I captured goes into another separate file with just game footage, or like marked out and labeled properly. And music, all the music I use, I put into a separate folder. So there's 3 basic folders. These all get put, and then there's a final folder, which is kind of a stock folder. All the intros I make and little segues and all that, those are made already, and those are in a separate folder. If I need to access them for an intro, for a thing, I don't have to remake intros and endings and all that kind of nonsense. So what this does, it's really started to pay off in the last, I would say, couple of years. In the beginning, it obviously didn't, but it pays off big time now. Tons and tons of time gets saved with the fact that if I make a new video now, I've got such a massive archive of games that I've recorded footage of. I've got pictures, I've got music from games, everything I've used, every single video I've used, I've got all that stuff. If I need to reference a game now in a video, I've probably got footage of it. I can just pull it in. I can pull some pictures. I can bring the music, carry on, edit. Tons and tons and tons of time now doesn't get wasted with me having to go and put on an emulator, record footage of a game, go on the internet, try and find some music that matches it or is at least from the game, going searching the internet for pictures, all this stuff. This is all extremely time consuming, and all that stuff is erased now. I'm not saying that every game it's ever made I've got stuff on, but I've got a lot that I'm covering, so it helps out tremendously. It just speeds up the whole process. Obviously, if I'm making stuff like the Mega Drive video, I hadn't covered that system a lot, so I spent so much time with so far like finding stuff and pictures and capturing footage. But I know in the future I've got all that now. I've got over 300 different games at this point, and I'm carrying on with the video. I've got more than that. I've probably got about 500 games footage captured, that kind of thing. I've got a massive archive, so all this helps. So yeah, also there's also sacrifices have to be made when you're making a YouTube channel. You've got to accept this. If you're not willing to accept this, then you're not going to be successful, or you're not going to be making a channel that is going to grow, because putting out random videos whenever you feel like it is not the way to. It's not how it works. You got to be consistent. If you're not consistent, it doesn't show that you have passion. If you don't have passion, your channel is simply not going to be successful. That's just the reality of it. The sacrifice for me for this channel is I don't have time to play games for fun, aka I don't have time to play modern games really. Modern games are history. They don't exist to me. Play the odd little arcade game just a little bit with my daughter or something, or I just mess around with something. That's about the end of it. There's no time to do that. There's no time for me to sit down and play a game for pleasure without recording footage, because that's taken away from the little bit of time I've got to make a video. I don't regret this at all, to be perfectly honest. I've kind of lost interest in AAA modern games anyway. They're just not doing it for me anymore. I really like the indie games that are being made. I think that's where gaming is really cool still. Lots of cool stuff out there for you to play, and that stuff doesn't require a lot of time, which is perfect. So yeah, modern games and playing for like pleasure is not really a thing. When I'm playing games to capture footage for the channel, that is kind of me playing for pleasure. It's a little bit of a different mentality. I'm constantly thinking about what's the footage going to look like, and should I stop and record here or there, because I don't like recording hours and hours of footage. I feel that's not a good way of archiving stuff. You need to have small amounts of footage and make sure you do something cool in that and show something cool. Otherwise you got this hours and hours of garbage. So there's all these things you got to think about. But yeah, I'm playing those for fun, but also for the video. So that's where I really play my games now. Most of it is 99% of it is retro stuff, or new Commodore 64 games, or new stuff that's been released for old systems. So it's a long-winded question. There's a lot of other things I can say. Make sure you have a decent editing program. If you're not familiar with editing, you need to practice. Practice by watching videos. That is, watching how other people make videos helps out a lot. I've been editing since the mid-90s, so I've got a lot of experience editing, so things just come naturally. So that also speeds up the process a lot. If you're starting out for the first time, you're going to spend a lot of time editing. I've cut that amount of time down dramatically. I can do things very quickly, and if I have an idea of what I want to do, like something special, I can pull it off extremely quickly without too much hassle, just because I can understand the process. This is all just coming with experience. So there's so much more to this question. It's very long-winded. I've tried to like break it down, but these are like important things that you can look out for if you're starting a channel. And always remember, make the video that you want to make. Don't pander to anybody. And what I mean is, don't disregard your audience, but when you're making a video, you need to make what you want to make. And if you make what you want to make with passion, it'll come through in your final result and people will watch it and enjoy it. Okay? If you pandering to somebody and a group of people just to reach a goal of getting views, and you just doing a subject just because it's hot on YouTube right now, you're not going to get there. Maybe the big YouTube channels can do that. They can do that because they already got a massive audience. So even if only 50% of the audience watch the panda video, they'll still be successful. You got to understand that. If you're a small channel, don't do that. You need to make what you like and how you feel and what you want to see. And if you do it, like I said, with passion, people will gravitate towards that. It's a slow process. The beginning of this channel was extremely difficult. The first 1,000 subscribers is brutal. And even the first 5,000 is a minefield. You'll want to give up at every turn, but don't. If you want to make it successful, you just have to keep going. And yeah, it's a long-winded question, I know, and I hope you got some sort of information out of that. And that's it for another vlog. Please make sure you check out the video description for these excellent dioramas, well worth your time. All the links to buy one of these and different versions and all the ones that are on display there are all in the video description, so please check them out. And thanks for joining me, Bass-B at 64K. I hope you had a good time. Please subscribe if you haven't. It'll really help out the channel. Cheers.